How's it digging my shovels? This is Spade here, and today I got a standard OU match against QQXY. And this is with the Sun team that you may remember from my previous battle. Had a bunch of battles with this team, and this is another one of these. And this was actually a really interesting match. And on other news, there's actually been a lot of Pokemon news, which are like, wow, but I don't want to get into those. But basically I've been working on kind of like a 60k sub special, so that will be coming up later this week, but I'll talk about that after this match, because we got the team preview going on here, and my opponent, he's got some interesting RU guys in form of Sceptile and Hitmonlee, and other than that, he's got, you know, fairly standard guys there, and the main problem I'm looking at is that Tyranitar, because obviously I got a Sun team, so we're gonna have ourselves a good old-fashioned weather war, which I need to worry about. But that being said, I was thinking he may want to lead with the T-Tar being slower of the weather starter upper guys, but he actually leads with the Tentacruel, as I do lead with that Kitty Cat Landorus trying to catch off that off guard that Tyranitar, but it doesn't work out that way, and I decided to pull a direct switch into Ninetales because I figured the worst thing he can do is just go for like Scald, and I thought about just U-turning, but I was like, okay, he may Scald, get the burn, don't want that on the first turn, and might as well go into Ninetales. But he actually goes into Skarmory directly, so that works out nicely. I'm gonna scout what he's going to do, go for the Sob, as he switches out into that Tyranitar like expected. But now I got some nice initiative since I am behind the Sob, and I am just going to go for the safe Will-O-Wisp, trying to cripple and burn that Tyranitar, but he switches out back to the Tentacruel, and that works out nicely. You know, get some residual damage on this wall known as Tentacruel, and especially since it is outside of rain, you know, that's definitely gonna help whittling this down much quicker. So now, I'm gonna go for the Sunny Day, because I have really nothing better to do, as he lays up some Toxic Spikes. And here, I decided to switch out, which in hindsight wasn't a good idea, because never waste a good sub. But since he's laying up Toxic Spikes, and since I do have the opportunity, I figured I would just go into Victory Bell and get rid of those Toxic Spikes, because if he manages to keep them on the field, you know, that's gonna be bad news bears. But he actually switches out back into Tyranitar, so that's not really too good. And I figured I would just switch out. I thought he would just lay up rocks. I could have just used Leaf Blade, and I thought he was fearing that, but he actually wasn't, and he just goes for the Pursuit, so gets a bunch of damage on my Victory Bell, which is bad news bears. And then he predicts me to set up rocks, and he goes for his rocks, so he's getting some really good initiative. Kudos to him. And now I figured, however, he's not going to be staying in, so I might as well go for the U-turn, get the initiative. Now he absolutely has no reason to stay in, because he just set up his rocks, and he's gonna go in Tentacruel. So I figured I would just go into Kabutops, and after the Sand and the Burn, he should be in a range where a Stab, Adamant Nature, Stone Edge should be able to knock him out, but of course I miss, and he's gonna go for the Scald, but thanks to the special defense boost in the Sand he gave me, this Scald actually doesn't do too much. So it works out decently, and here I decided to have a change of heart, and instead of knocking him out, I decided to go for the Rapid Spin, as he opts to do the same. Don't know how things would have panned out if I would have been just able to knock him out in the first place, but oh well, you know, hacks is hacks. What can you do? So now we have no entry hazards on the field, and I figured I would just go for the Waterfall from this range, because it's going to be able to knock out that Tentacruel, but he actually switches out into the Skarmory, and turns out he has the Rocky Helmet, and I actually don't want to have anything to do with the Skarmory, so I'm just going to go for the Sword Dance, and because now his Sturdy is broken, if I just manage to land my Stone Edge, which I now do, I should be able to knock him out, and with the Stone Edge, I'm not going to make contact, so no Rocky Helmet damage, and I am able to knock him out. But unfortunately, he's going to be able to go into Gengar, and I really don't have anything that really wants to take a Shadow Ball, because this team just kind of sucks and lacks a dedicated special wall. Best thing I have to take one is Ninetales, but obviously don't want to switch it in directly to an attack when there is a Weather War going on. So, Kabutops is going to bite the dust, but it still did a good job taking out Tentacruel and getting rid of the rocks, and you know, killing the Skarmory, so it's not all bad. But, yeah, because this team, again, kind of sucks, I don't have much to deal with Gengar, especially because first I need to go into Ninetales, but I don't really want to switch into anything because he's going to be supping down on me, like he keeps doing. And, yeah, he goes for it the second time instead of just attacking me, so I'm like, there must be something fishy going on here, and he goes for the Destiny Bond, and I decided to go for the sub because I figured there is indeed something fishy about that. Him keeping down, going for the sub, and yeah, it works out quite nicely as I don't die, and I figured I would just go for the Will-O-Wisp in case he goes for the Destiny Bond again, but of course I miss, which is kind of good and kind of bad. And bad in a sense, because now I need to go and sack this Darmanitan right now. Well, I would have had to sack Darmanitan again, but he would have died at the end of the turn. So now, instead of, you know, keeping Victory Bell for later, which I was hoping to do, now I just kind of have to go into it directly, and now it's basically gonna be dead, pretty much, because he's gonna, of course, go into his Tyranitar. I'm gonna go for the safe Leaf Blades, because I know he's most likely gonna go in the T-Chart, but I was hoping to keep this Victory Bell for later and do something with it, but now that is really not possible. But the good news is something that you will see later on, kinda. So we'll get to that eventually. But, yeah, he's gonna go into Tyranitar, set up the sand, and I figured I would just switch out and go into my Ninetales, because I'm pretty sure he's not gonna switch out, and I might as well keep the Victory Bell for Death Fodder later on. And obviously he doesn't want to lose his Tyranitar, so he has to switch out. And I figured I would just take this opportunity, go into Ninetales, set up that Sun, because at this point I just kind of have to take risks. And he actually pulls a double into his Sceptile, and I figured I would just scout what in the world is going on here and go into my Kitty Cat Landorus, and it turns out he's actually a special attacker, but he goes for the Focus Miss, and it lands, so that's the thing. And I'm just gonna go for the U-turn, because that's kind of the safest thing I can do. And he's just gonna go into Tentacruel as a Death Fodder. But because I do not want to give him the initiative at this point, I figured I would just go into my Victory Bell as a Death Fodder. So it's gonna be a double down, and we are both going to send out fresh guys at the same time. And I'm just gonna go into Kitty Cat Landorus just to get some initiative. I was hoping he would go into that Tyranitar, but of course he's smarter than that, because he knows I'm most likely going to do that. But he goes into Sceptile instead, and I figured I would just stay in, try to get off a U-turn, but he's most likely Specs. Goes for the Leaf Storm, takes me out, but it's not all bad. And now I just kind of have to take a risk right here. And I'm just really hoping that he is gonna go into Gengar as a Death Fodder, because that's the only chance that I got at this point. But the thing is, he doesn't know what kind of set he's running, so he's most likely gonna do that. And that is indeed what he does. And I am able to set up the Trick Room and then be faster than him, go for that Wii Create, and knock him out. And now, because of that speed drop, I am going to be faster than the Tyranitar in the Trick Room. And so, I'm gonna go for that, wait for it, Wii Create! And destroy this Tyranitar. I'm holding the Flame Plates, so it is still more powerful. I think it is still more powerful than the Fusion Bolt, I mean the Ball Strike, which one this has right now. Yeah, it is updated to have Ball Strike right now. So, yeah, his Wii Create is just absolute overkill, and with Stab, it still does more. So, gonna be able to knock him out, and in comes Sceptile, of course, gonna be able to knock him out as well. And now his last Pokemon is, in fact, the Hitmonlee, and now it is going to come down to what kind of set he is running. And I was fearing, is it the Unburdened set with the Fake Outs? And of course, it is, and that kind of just ruined on my parade, rained on my parade with Victini, because this was the last turn of Trick Room. But I'm still going to leave him with a little parting gift in form of Quick Attack. And before he's able to knock me out with a Stone Edge, I was actually surprised that he didn't go for, like, close combat, because I had all those defense drops. But yeah, Stone Edge does land, takes me out, and I'm gonna go into Ninetales, but because he has the Unburden, he is going to be able to outspeed me, and not, unless he misses his attack, which he doesn't. I was actually, yeah, again, surprised by not close combat, but I guess he prefers more power over the safeness of CC, and that will be the game. But it was a really interesting match going back and forth. In the end, Victini was able to pull a comeback, but then, you know, the Hitmonlee pulled its own comeback, and it was the Unburdened set, which I was really fearing. And in hindsight, I probably should have just sacked Ninetales to the fake out, but the thing was that I wasn't really sure, again, which kind of set he was running, and I figured I had the best chance just to go for the attack while I had the last turn of Trick Room. But yeah, of course it turned out to be the worst case, and yeah. But I don't know if I could have lived the Stone Edge after the spikes with Victini. I do have the max HP, but still not sure. But probably should have tried that, but then again, didn't know what kind of set it was in the end, and that kind of cost me in that sense. But it was, again, fun match going back and forth. Comebacks all over the place, and it was all around good time. So hope you guys enjoyed this battle as well. And yeah, I mentioned at the beginning I have been working on a 60k sub-special, and some of you may remember the Revengeance of Thunderous song. It's a Wi-Fi battle with me making a song out of the battle, what is happening in the battle itself. It's kind of funny. If you haven't seen that, you know, go look it up. Revengeance of Thunderous. But some of you may know that a lot of people seem to like that, and I made kind of like a sequel, quote-unquote, to that, and I will upload that most likely this Saturday. And yeah, I've been working on it for like the past couple months. It's been kind of like just an on-off project. I've been working on the lyrics and then, you know, trying to sing, which I can, but, you know, that's not really the point. It's just, you know, singing about the battle itself, and people seem to like it despite me not being able to sing. Because, yeah, again, not really the main point. It's just kind of overall a funny concept of things that I've had going on my channel. Done those few times in the past. Started with the Cypher, then there was that Revengeance of Thunderous, and now there's gonna be another one. And at least I think it's kind of funny. And since a lot of people seem to like those, I figured I would make another one. It is really fun to make them, but it just tends to take a long time. Like making lyrics, finding a right bell, and then having the music in the background, and then writing the fitting lyrics that at least try to rhyme and stuff. It's a long process, but it's still fun, and as an on-off project, you know, it's something cool that eventually turns out to be what it is, and you will see it this Saturday, most likely. So, stay tuned for that, and I think I have done enough of rambling for today, so thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay tuned for that Saturday, and until then, this is TheFlamingSpade, signing out. Peace!